My name is Suzanne Hill. I am 27 years old. Recently out of a bad breakup, and for the past 4 years, I've been quietly covering my mother's credit card debts without anyone knowing. She parades around like I'm the family disappointment, but my so called worthless job has been the only thing keeping her from bankruptcy filings. This evening at my parents' Christmas Eve gathering in Greensboro, North Carolina, with the living room aglow from twinkling lights on the oversized fir tree and the scent of cinnamon candles mingling with roasted turkey, she crossed a line that shattered the holiday facade. Mom smirked across the festively set table piled with holiday platters of ham, mashed potatoes, and cranberry sauce, her voice piercing through the soft carols playing in the background and the clinking of wine glasses. "Hey, how does it feel to be such a letdown, Suzanne?" she announced loudly, making sure Dad, Aunt Cheryl, my older sister, her husband, and the cousins scattered around the room, some still unwrapping last-minute gifts, heard every stinging word. My gut twisted with that old urge to brush it off and maintain the merry pretense, but it faded amid the glittering ornaments reflecting our strained faces. I met her gaze steadily and replied, "Feels pretty liberating, actually, since I just canceled the automatic payments on your credit cards." Her grin stiffened, then dropped like a fragile bauble from the tree. The room fell silent, the holiday cheer evaporating as the fireplace crackled awkwardly, my father's wineglass hovering mid-sip as he stared at me in disbelief. "Payments? What payments?" he barked sharper than the winter wind howling outside our suburban home. Mom's eyes flicked between us, scrambling for her usual spin to flip the blame back on me, perhaps wrapping it in some false Yuletide forgiveness. But this wasn't an impulsive outburst amid the eggnog toasts. It was the culmination of weeks of careful planning, every detail timed with these family witnesses huddled under the mistletoe. What unfolded after that revelation rattled everyone in the warmly lit space, forcing me to choose between breaking free from the tangled holiday lights of obligation or slipping back into the shadowed role she'd assigned me, all while the snow flurried outside, blanketing Greensboro in a deceptive peace. For a beat, no one stirred the soft glow of string lights casting long shadows across the wrapped presents under the tree, as if the entire holiday spirit had paused in shock. Then, Mom recovered her composure, adjusting a stray ribbon on a nearby gift box. "Oh, come on, don't be so theatrical," she huffed, attempting a chuckle that rang hollow amid the awkward stares and the faint jingle of bells from a cousin's ugly Christmas sweater. "She's always exaggerating for attention. You know how she is. Especially during the holidays, when emotions run high." I didn't let her derail me, ignoring the way the room's festive decorations, garlands draped over the mantel stockings hung with care, now felt like mocking props in our family drama. "I'm dead serious," I stated, locking eyes with my dad over the centerpiece of poinsettias. "For 4 years, I've been wiping out your credit card balances every month from my paycheck, even dipping into my savings after the breakup. You begged me to keep it quiet, said it was just temporary stress relief amid your holiday budgeting woes. But I'm finished." That hooked his focus hard, his face illuminated by the multicolored bulbs shifting from puzzled to ashen, then to a raw fury I hadn't witnessed since childhood Christmases marred by arguments. "Is this for real?" he pressed Mom slowly. "Have you been siphoning money from her behind my back even as we've been planning these family gatherings? Mom Bonnie in formal settings, but always just..." Mom to me squared her shoulders, defiantly fiddling with a silver bell ornament as if it could chime away the tension. "Please, you're both overreacting," she scoffed. Her stories grow taller every time, like those inflated Santa displays. "I needed a hand after some work hours got slashed around last year's holidays. I didn't want to worry you, so I turned to our daughter. That's what family does, especially at Christmas." A hand, I echoed inwardly, the old resentment bubbling up like overheated mulled wine. "Mom, I've cleared over $40,000 in charges for you, groceries, spa days, online shopping sprees for holiday gifts you claimed were essentials. You sobbed on the phone, claiming you'd spiral into debt collectors and ruin the family's festive season if I didn't step up, that everyone would label me the selfish one who let her mother sink during the most wonderful time of the year. Whispers spread among the cousins lounging on the couch with half-eaten gingerbread cookies, my older sister shifting uncomfortably in her seat, her husband placing a protective hand on her knee. Dad glanced between us, the Christmas tree's lights twinkling mockingly in his eyes. I had no clue, he muttered low. You swore you had it handled, that the cards were under control even when we discussed budgets for this year's gifts. I did, she fired back. And now she's dragging this out here on Christmas Eve of all nights because she's still bitter about her failed relationship, probably why she showed up without a date again. I nearly barked a laugh, the sound clashing with the distant carolers audible through the window. You dragged me down first, I countered, in front of the same crowd you've been boasting to about your perfect holiday traditions. But this runs deeper than bitterness. It's about your grip on me. You didn't just borrow, you relished the power. As long as I footed the bill, you could trash me as a failure and count on my silence each billing cycle, even as you splurged on decorations and parties. Why keep it from me? Dad probed again, directing it at me, this time his voice cutting through the room's forced holiday warmth. Because whenever I pushed back, she'd drag you into it. I explained, glancing at the framed family photos on the wall from past Christmases, all smiles hiding the cracks. She'd claim, "You're turning into your father, dodging responsibility when it counts, especially during family holidays." And I bought it, convinced I owed her everything for raising me through those magical seasons. The eyes on us wide under Santa hats and reindeer antlers didn't faze me anymore. This was laying out the case piece by piece amid the unwrapped toys and scattered wrapping paper. And we were just getting started. Would this group, bonded by holiday cheer, finally spot her true colors beneath the tinsel, or cling to the narrative that I was the Grinch, spoiling the festivities? Dad echoed, 4 years, like he needed to vocalize it to grasp the weight, his hand absently toying with a stray candy cane. My thoughts rewound to how it kicked off right after my breakup, when I was crashing on a friend's couch in downtown Greensboro, piecing together freelance gigs to afford my own place. The city lights outside mimicking distant holiday displays even in summer. Before I could even settle, Mom rang, tears choking her words like a choked-up caroler. The interest rate spiked, she wailed. Your father thinks I should just cut back on holiday preps, but he doesn't get how tight things are year-round. I'm drowning here. Am I supposed to skip Christmas entirely? You'd really abandon me after all I've done, making every holiday special. I recall staring at the unpacked duffel bags, feeling like a total wreck, the weight of seasonal expectations already looming. Okay, I'll cover this month, I'd choked out chest tight. Just till you stabilize before the next holiday rush. She dried up instantly. I always knew you had my back, unlike some, she cooed, perhaps already eyeing Black Friday deals. That first payment snowballed one cycle to 6 to 18, each coinciding with mounting holiday expenses she justified as family necessities. Any hint of stopping, and she'd unleash the arsenal. After sacrificing my dreams for you kids' perfect Christmases, this is my thanks. No surprise your boyfriend bailed. You're all about you even during giving seasons. And the killer. You're fortunate I even acknowledge you as mine, especially when you ruin the holidays with your selfishness. Back at the gathering, with the scent of pine needles heavy in the air, I saw those lines for the scripted traps. They were how I'd gulp them down whole like tainted eggnog. He doesn't need every detail, Mom interrupted my reverie, flapping a hand at Dad while adjusting a nativity scene on the side table. Mothers ask for support. It's natural, particularly around Christmas when unity matters. She agreed to it. I agreed under duress. I shot back, you painted me as a villain for even hesitating, claiming it would shatter the family's holiday joy. Dad's gaze turned steely, the fireplace's glow highlighting his clenched jaw. Bonnie, he warned, using her name like a barrier amid the holiday decor. Did you feed her that line about me even as we planned this year's celebrations? She let out a shaky laugh. eyes flat despite the merry surroundings. You know her flair for drama amplified by seasonal stress. I was overwhelmed. Words slip sometimes like misplaced gifts. You meant them all, I insisted. You craved me tethered and fearful. Believing I was indebted kept me compliant, especially when you'd tie it to holiday guilt. Another flash hit then the tipping point last month when my account dipped negative after her latest charge hit the same day my car needed winter tires, just as Black Friday sales tempted her anew. I'd called her frantic. She snapped, "If you budgeted smarter, this wouldn't happen during prep for family gatherings. Maybe adulthood's not your strong suit, let alone holiday hosting." That evening, glaring at my banking app amid stacks of statements and texts, resolve clicked like a switched-on string light. I compiled it all: printouts, digital logs, even voice memos of her rants, including ones laced with holiday threats. She thrived in shadows. Exposure amid the bright lights of Christmas would end it. Want to discuss letdowns? I challenged now. Voice even as a cousin quietly set down a plate of cookies. I've erased your debts, covered frivolous buys, even that impulse vacation charge disguised as a holiday getaway plan. Yet in your tales to everyone at church pageants, neighborhood light tours, I'm the screw-up who can't even commit to a partner for family photos. She parted her lips, but I cut in the room's warmth, feeling oppressive. This Christmas Eve wasn't random. It's my stand against your year-round manipulations. No more shielding your facade behind festive smiles. I fished the folder from my tote, the one crammed with statements, text captures, and my fresh credit freeze notice, perhaps the only gift she'd get from me this year. I wavered on unleashing it all here, amid the carol playlists and scent of fresh-baked pies wafting from the kitchen. But after her smug taunt, despite years of me funding her excesses while she demeaned me, the choice clarified, sharpened by the contrast of holiday joy and inner turmoil. Dare I dump this proof before Dad, Aunt Cheryl, my older sister, and the cousins in this merry lit room, revealing her hidden side, at last turning the season of giving in to one of reckoning? The room's holiday hum resumed faintly, someone's phone playing Jingle Bells, softly the clink of a fork on a dessert plate. But our circle felt frozen, the twinkling lights now seeming to pulse with anticipation. Mom's stare locked on my hand as I placed the thick folder on the table beside a half-eaten slice of Yule log cake. "What's that?" she demanded, tone edged sharper than the icicles outside. "Evidence?" I replied flatly. "Every payment, every unpaid loan, every plea where you swore it was the last time, often timed with holiday shopping spikes." Dad reached for it, but Mom slammed her hand down, nearly knocking over a glass of spiked cider. "Darren, no," she urged sharply. "This is absurd. She's spiraling from holiday blues. We can hash it privately after gifts." I held his gaze, the tree's ornaments reflecting our distorted faces. "Private's how she thrives," I said, rewriting narratives later like editing family holiday stories to suit her. "That's why here, with eyes on us during this joyous occasion." A cousin by the window glanced out at the falling snow, perhaps wishing for escape, while others shifted uncomfortably in their festive attire. Usually I'd cringe at the public scene. Today, it empowered me, the holiday spirit ironically fueling my resolve. Let them glimpse her unscripted amid the scripted cheer. Dad eased the folder, free pages fanning out annotated charges, messages vowing one more cycle before New Year's resolutions, tallied totals that could have funded countless family trips. He scanned deliberately, the hush, broken only by the crackle of wrapping paper from a distant child. The silence screamed louder than any carol. "You claimed your job bonuses cleared those extravagant gift purchases," he noted, brow furrowed at one sheet, the room's warmth clashing with his cooling tone. "Said the cards were balanced even when we budgeted for this party." Mom's smile, cracked hastily reapplied like mismatched wrapping. "I spared you the worry," she pressed, gesturing to the decorated space. "You griped last time about holiday bills. Suzanne volunteered, saying it was her gift to the family." No, I interjected. You wept, said. Without me, you'd cancel Christmas, my fault entirely for not stepping up. You insisted not to tell him that he never cared about the real costs of our traditions. You dumped it all on me, turning seasons of joy into burdens. Dad's grip shook on the papers, the fireplace's flames dancing wildly. He wasn't expressive, but cracks showed from their strained history, perhaps amplified by past holiday tensions, post-divorce vibes lingering. You really spun that about me, he questioned, that I don't give a damn about family festivities. Mom's veneer faltered briefly amid the glittering backdrop. I was distraught, she mumbled. You always cast me as the bad guy even during these gatherings I organize. Holding this family intact solo is exhausting, especially with holiday pressures. I stifled a choke, the irony thick as fruitcake. Intact, I repeated. You've puppeteered us like holiday marionettes. Belittle me publicly at every toast, but privately rack up tabs on my dime for your perfect celebrations. You dub me a letdown while charging luxuries I finance, from tree toppers to catered spreads. Her eyes narrowed the room's merry ambiance, turning claustrophobic. Mind your manners, she hissed, glancing at the nativity set as if seeking divine intervention. I'm your mother, still the one who made every Christmas magical. Precisely, I whispered. Meant to shield me, not exploit me as your bailout during the giving season. Rage simmered beneath, but I stayed composed, the snow outside building like my resolve. And FYI, next cycle the card companies chase you. Not me. I already notified them to remove my linked account. It was never authorized anyway, especially not for your holiday excesses. Her complexion paled whiter than the fresh snowfall. You wouldn't dare ruin Christmas like this. Done, I affirmed. That's the liberation. Your messes stay yours, no more tainting my holidays. A cousin murmured to another about the unfolding drama, Mom spotting it, panic lacing her whisper like tangled lights. Guests are watching. You're making a scene on this holy night. No embarrassing you, I corrected. Prioritizing optics over amends speaks volumes even amid carols of peace. My pulse raced, yet a core calm settled, the holiday lights illuminating my path forward. No retreat now, not with the scent of pine urging clarity. Suzanne, Dad interjected measuredly, setting down his glass of mulled wine. This why you've skimped lately? Skipped that office holiday party, pawned your jewelry for secret Santa funds? Mom leaped in, her voice rising over the background music. Oh, spare me the theatrics. She's forever reckless with cash, blowing it on failed relationships instead of family contributions. Blaming me's easier than owning up, especially when I've slaved over this gathering. I slid my phone out, opened a file, set it face up beside the holiday centerpiece. These are memos from recent calls, I declared, including your rants about holiday budgets. Your words when alone, laced with seasonal guilt. Her pupils dilated wider than a child's on Christmas morning. You taped me. Tired of doubting my sanity amid your festive manipulations, I said. So I tracked financially, emotionally, to ensure the holidays wouldn't break me further. First time that evening, real fear hit her, not bluster, her face ashen against the red and green decor. You wouldn't blast those here amid the family Christmas, she whispered. Not so vicious to spoil the night. I pondered her barbs. You'd amount to nothing sans me, especially without my holiday guidance. Nights fretting over her bills, over my own gift buying. Her chuckles at my struggles during what should be joyful times. You drilled that love equals degradation wrapped in holiday bows, I said. Tonight, I redefine it, for me, reclaiming the season's true spirit. My finger lingered on play, the room's tension thick as fogged windows. Pressing it would shatter illusions no more. She's touchy from holiday stress. Just stark reality clashing with the merry facade. Ready to let them hear her unguarded venom during this supposed time of peace. Before I could, a voice cut in from the archway adorned with holly. Hold on, let her explain first. My Aunt Cheryl said, stepping in with a plate of fresh-baked cookies, her arrival timed perfectly amid the escalating drama. Mom's younger sister, she'd come bearing desserts but caught the heated exchange. "You needn't torch it all at once on Christmas Eve." Mom sneered, adjusting a crooked stocking. "Great, the peacemaker arrives to play Santa's helper." Cheryl brushed it off, claiming a seat beside me, her solid vibe grounding like an anchor in the stormy holiday sea, the scent of vanilla from her baking wafting comfortingly. I overheard from the kitchen she told Dad and the group, setting down the plate amid the half-eaten feast. "This isn't Bonnie's first rodeo with financial holiday manipulations." Mom whirled, nearly toppling a candle. "Pardon?" Cheryl laced her fingers, eyeing the tree's gifts pointedly. "Recall charging that loan in my name during my first post-college Christmas when you said it was for family emergencies, but really for extravagant decorations or siphoning from savings for holiday surprises that were your personal splurges." Gasps circled a cousin, choking on a sip of cocoa. "That was decades back." Mom snapped, her voice echoing off the festooned walls. "And I reimbursed before the next New Year." "No," Cheryl countered calmly. "You shamed me into silence with holiday guilt trips." Same playbook with Suzanne, victim act, tears timed with seasonal sentiment, vows to change. Come January, then label challengers, disloyal Scrooges. I'd never seen Mom face down without retreat, not even during past family holiday blowouts. "You knew," I asked Cheryl, voice wavering amid the twinkling backdrop. "Not the cards, specifically," she admitted. I'd have jumped in sooner, especially knowing how holidays amplify her tactics. But that tone, textbook when she wants leverage for her festive needs. Mom shook her head, tears welling in fury, the lights reflecting like accusations. "You're all piling on during what should be a joyful night," she accused. "I glued this family. Sacrificed all for these traditions. This my reward, a ruined Christmas you didn't glue," I murmured. "You ensnared us in your web of holiday obligations." Those words lingered, heavy, heavier than the snow-laden branches outside. My older sister, the golden child, always showered with the best gifts and praise while I sacrificed quietly, finally spoke, her voice quivering like a fragile ornament. "Is it true?" she asked Mom, glancing at the pile of presents where hers always outnumbered mine. "Did you bleed her dry like that, all while preaching family unity under the mistletoe?" Mom faltered, opting for partial admissions, her hands trembling as she clutched a napkin embroidered with snowflakes. "I sought aid in tough spots," she said. "Moms do, especially during expensive holidays. I struggled with seasonal demands." "You paint me monstrous, turning this eve into a nightmare." "Monsters blend in," Cheryl noted, especially behind holiday smiles. "Some as folks dodging accountability while demanding perfect celebrations." I scanned and caught my older sister exchanging tense glances with her husband, who'd stayed quiet, but now looked uneasy, perhaps regretting the lavish gift he'd just unwrapped from Mom. Mom noticed color draining paler than the white Christmas lights. Reputation ruled her church caroling groups, neighborhood cookie exchanges, her social media posts of our picture-perfect holidays. The notion of exposure here, vulnerable and unmasked amid the cheer, petrified her worse than a coal-filled stocking, the festive atmosphere heightening her dread of seasonal scandal. "Please," she breathed, leaning close, her whisper barely audible over the soft music. "Don't play those memos. Keep it contained. Don't let this ruin everyone's Christmas." "Now you fret over ears," I queried, the irony sharp as holly leaves. "Not when you branded me a burden at last year's toast, predicted my isolation without your guidance, claimed no one tolerates me, especially not during family gatherings." Tears pricked, but I held firm, the room's warmth contrasting my inner chill. "You spat that thinking it'd stay buried like hidden gifts that I'd eternally cover to preserve the holiday peace." Dad cleared his throat, roughly setting aside his empty glass. "Suzanne, play or not's your call. But I trust you. Shouldn't have needed proof amid our traditions. Sorry I missed it, letting holidays mask the issues." That regret struck deeper than Mom's digs the fireplace's glow, softening his features momentarily. I blinked down, steadying against the emotional whirlwind. I didn't aim to demolish you, I told Mom softly. Not on this night of all. Just halt it. Own it, release me from your seasonal chains. She gawked like a stranger, perhaps, to the compliant me. She knew the one who'd always play along for holiday harmony. If you cut me loose, she quavered, you'll rue it. When you crumble without my festive safety net, no joy left. Not so, Cheryl interjected swiftly. She's got me networks her strength more than these superficial celebrations offer. I faced Mom, the tree's lights haloing her like a fallen angel. For once, she wasn't a titan, just a fearful manipulator who'd incinerate ties over admission even on Christmas Eve. I pocketed my phone, unplayed the decision, feeling like unwrapping freedom. She exhaled, visibly relief, flickering like candlelight. Not mercy for you, I clarified before she could gloat. For me, no reliving that poison allowed amid carols of forgiveness. I know its scars deepened by holiday contrasts. My older sister frowned, perhaps expecting fireworks to match the New Year's Eve we'd never reached together. My win wasn't spectacle. It was reclamation, turning the season's end into my beginning. But I'm halting the payments, I pressed. No more secrets. If word spreads through holiday gossip, not my leak, your deeds surfacing like unwanted regifts. Mom gulped, features twisting before flattening the snow outside, intensifying as if mirroring the storm within. So now she queried, voice laced with dread. You vanish from our traditions. I inhaled deeply, the pine scent grounding me. Shakes threatened, screams, sobs, all amplified by seasonal emotions. Yet steadiness held my resolve firm as the evergreen. Now I cease being the letdown you labeled. Truth, I wasn't. I served you, funding your illusions of perfect holidays. You never foresaw cessation, especially not tonight. I shoved my chair back, scraping the floor like sleigh runners on roof. This, the final debt I settle, the emotional wrapped in years of silent sacrifice. I didn't foresee the aftermath fully, just knew with fierce joy I'd picked me even as the carols sang of togetherness. As I headed toward the coat rack by the door, adorned with extra scarves for snowy departures, a notion nagged. I'd reclaimed agency, severed her access to my funds, guilt quiet. But if chance arose to shatter her standing after her years eroding mine, heightened by holiday hypocrisies, would I, or is departing with sanity, the ultimate payback, leaving her to face a silent night alone? I barely reached the foyer boots, crunching wrapping scraps when Dad called. Suzanne, hold up. His tone halted me, urgent, not irate, cutting through the muffled music. I pivoted. He stood yards from the table, folder clutched, posture sagged like a deflated snowman, the holiday lights casting somber shadows. Cheryl flanked him, hand on his arm, a beacon in the festive chaos. Mom remained seated, oscillating anger and dread, scanning watchers, as if gauging who might spread the tale at midnight mass. I need clarity, he said softly as I neared the scent of cider still lingering. What do you seek now beyond this ruined evening? No one's queried my wants before, not amid gift exchanges or toasts. Not her version, not my faults, but mine, unfiltered like fresh snow. The response surprised, bubbling up like champagne at midnight. Ended, I said. Her exploitation, distortion, scapegoating me while I paid dearly, all wrapped in holiday guilt. And the money, he asked, glancing at the tree's base where gifts mocked our unraveling. Repayment for a flash. Envisioning every dollar chased thrilled her, scrambling, bearing my load during her favorite season. But it'd bind me eternally. Battles, excuses, victim monologues amplified by New Year's regrets. I craved freedom, not perpetual chains tangled in tinsel. Accountability, I stated. Any return voluntary, not pursued. True recompense, barring recurrence, to me, Cheryl, anyone, no more holiday manipulations. Cheryl nodded, her eyes reflecting the lights. We can enforce that, starting with honesty this very night. We returned together, the room thickened with tension, the Christmas tree's glow now accusatory. Mom sat stiff knuckles blanched on her glass, the festive table a battlefield of half-eaten delights. Finished shaming me on this sacred eve, she iced her voice clashing with the joy outside. Or parade my flaws more like unwanted fruitcake, Dad eased down tucking papers beside a candle. Not shame, he said. Your actions lies to me, our girl, your sister, all while orchestrating these perfect holidays, extracted from us, guilting more with seasonal sentiment. She barked a laugh bitter as unsweetened cocoa. As if you're flawless hosting without complaint. I'm not, he conceded, but no more normalizing this amid carols of peace. He nudged the folder her way. Tomorrow, Christmas Day, call the issuers. State payments stop from Suzanne, devise your plan, sans her account, no holiday bailouts. You'll cover, she bit. Hero complex for the season? No, he replied. Nor me, no more enabling your festive facades. She gaped, floored, the snow outside swirling like her thoughts. What, you dug this? He said. Claimed independence while using our daughter as cushion for your extravagances. Ends here. Downsized spending, ask transparently if needed. No tying it to holiday guilt. But this. He wrapped the folder, banned forever. You can't desert me on Christmas, she pleaded, voice cracking like thin ice. Cheryl advanced her presence steady. You deserted Suzanne's support needs long ago, made her feel flawed, leveraged fear for funds, all under the guise of family holidays. Abandoned her ages ago, she's exiting your blaze, leaving the ashes for you this season. My older sister wasn't discreet now. Phone out, perhaps texting allies about the unfolding Yuletide disaster, her husband whispering urgings to stay neutral. Mom saw masks shattering completely, the cheerful decor mocking her. Quit gawking! She yelled at the room, her outburst silencing the music player. Your business, go enjoy your gifts. Heads averted, not fully, the holiday spirit fractured. Her cultivated image frayed, she knew, as whispers might spread like viral Christmas memes. Ungrateful lot, she hissed our way. Without me, zilch, no traditions, no joy. Gave life, forfeited all for these nights. Forfeited my serenity, I whispered. Reclaiming it, starting this Christmas. I opened a group text prep that morning tagged, Truth Unwrapped. Included Cheryl, Dad, my older sister, cousins who'd glimpsed bits amid past holiday tensions. Tapped attached docs, captures statements, timeline laced with seasonal references. Sent the pings echoing like distant bells. Phones pinged in sync, a cousin's eyes bulged at hers amid the gifts. Good Lord, she breathed, the revelation hitting like an unexpected coal. Mom bolted up. What did you do, ruin Christmas further? Ensured facts endure, I said. No online blast, no feeds tarnishing your holiday posts. Just if you warp later informed parties, no preventing future festive deceptions. Her jaw worked, rage, fear clash fiercer than a blizzard. Think they'll abandon me this season. Your triumph, a joyless holiday. My triumph, I said, is freedom from your narrative's sway, even amid twinkling lights. Done purchasing it. Dad set his phone aside, eyed her sternly. For any tie with me, Suzanne family, he said, own up this very night. Seek aid. Cease using folk, no holiday leverages, no secrets, debts covert. Else isolation, a silent night indeed. I thought she'd crack, apologize under the mistletoe. Eyes glistened, lips quivered like falling snow. Then steel returned. Fine, she snarled. Leave. Don't crawl back when shattered your holidays empty without me. I rose. Thing is, Mom, I said, my life's improved since quitting proof to you, especially this season. Now channeling that to me, perhaps starting new traditions. Bag hoisted, I strode doorward stairs, boring in like spotlights on a nativity play. For once, not diminished, liberated, the snow welcoming. But as crisp air hit doubt, tugged the holiday lights fading behind. I'd seized power, blocked her drains on my resources, conscience voice. Yet wondered with opportunity to raise her repute after her dismantling mine. Would you, especially on Christmas or self-build, Let verity pursue amid the festivities. 4 months on my alarm buzzed at 7:30 a.m. First thought wasn't mom's debt alerts or holiday remnants. It was gym or coffee run trivial. But if you've braced daily for another's chaos, amplified by seasonal pressures, it's monumental. Phone, serene, no barrages, no pleas. Just Cheryl's lunch Thursday, and Dad's checking in proud post-holiday reflections included. I upgraded to a cozy condo in Greensboro's Arts District weeks back. Modest but rent mine alone, no lingering holiday debts. Budget bore marks from 4 years drains, but sans her charges no more. Anxiety scrolls through statements even during sale seasons. Even stashed bits in investments, watching growth like nurtured hope beyond winter. Work eased, too. Same marketing role, but transformed. Stopped overtime grabs to fund her festive whims. Declined no vacation guilt, especially post-holidays. Boss noted focused lately, keep it perhaps inspired by New Year vibes. Not all perfect. Christmas Eve ripples spread. Mom hit collections within 2 months. Not direct word. Cheryl relayed then Dad details unfolding like delayed gifts. She balked at curbing habits, initially expecting Yuletide bailouts to continue. None came. Cards maxed suits filed amid lingering holiday bills. She downsized to a cramped rental on Greensboro's outskirts, distant from her social haunts as the unflappable holiday hostess. Circles thinned former caroling mates, ghosted invites, holiday parties excluding her. No showdowns, just fade into the post-season quiet. Cheryl severed loans, too. Love her, she phoned me, but no fueling deceit, especially after that eve. Should have halted sooner. Sorry, Suzanne, for the tainted memories. Dad segregated finances firmly. Halted emergencies tied to traditions. Quit crediting her tales of seasonal woes. Started counseling, turns out avoidance ran deep unmasked that night. My older sister ever favored with praise and perks while I sacrificed for the family image, distanced too. Her husband pushing for it after the reveal shattered their holiday illusions. As for Mom, predictable initial texts veered pleas to venom laced with post-Christmas regrets. Forgive me, unaware of pain during the season. Then you poisoned them, hope satisfaction in my lonely new year. Therapists termed it controls death throes, escalating till feudal holidays, heightening the drama. So I radicalized silence. No replies to Barb's honeyed traps, memory lanes of better Christmases. Boundaries stated at gathering. Sans genuine ownership, sans blame shift, nada, no more festive reconciliations. Then one evening, meet request. Brief talk, neutral spot. Hour. No cash. Gut sank, echoes of holiday tension resurfacing. Ignore tempted. But closure nagged, glimpses of pre-twist her before manipulation soured seasons. We met at a Greensboro cafe, not the home site. Neutral spring air replacing winter chill. She appeared diminished hair, unkempt makeup, sparse, weary, like post-holiday fatigue lingered. You look well, she said as I sat, no seasonal flair. Compliment landed neutrally, no hook. Thanks, I replied. You too. Lie but civil. Silence clinks and murmurs, feeling reminiscent of that eve's hum. Finally, cards sued me post-holiday avalanche. I know, I said. Cheryl mentioned. Lips pursed, nodded. Naturally. Breathed deep. Blamed you initially. Told self you relished my fall, especially after ruining Christmas. Then swallowed. Reviewed statements. Truly saw earnings your infusions, my boasts about perfect holidays. Realized I spent like dual incomes, mine plus yours, squeezing others for seasonal excesses. Didn't know solo survival anymore, let alone without holiday crutches. Hearing admission felt like alternate reality, post-festive clarity. Why share? I asked. Because she drawled, saw counselor. Wanted validation, you overblew, I tried best amid traditions. But no. Bitter chuckle. Asked why I feared bad mom label over being one, especially during giving times. I held tongue, let flow. Had me list every ask, guilt trip, worthlessness jab, many tied to holidays. On paper, ugly, desperate, mirrored my mom's to me fleeing home before her own twisted Christmases. Shocked, she skimped childhood tales save escape from seasonal horrors. So replicated, I noted softly, convinced different via justifications for festive needs. Eyes sparked recognition, not ire. Counselor echoed. Built identity anti her became her anyway holidays as battleground. Looked hands. Not pity, bid she hasty. No undeserved. Just quitting lies to you self, no more holiday deceptions. Silence, less oppressive, spring budding outside. What want from me? I queried. If cash plea, no seasons change, boundaries don't. No, she said. No ask. Hesitated. Chance not revert, that's toast like burned holiday roasts. But perhaps, someday something. Call sans fight. Coffee sans tabs or guilt. Not now. Just not end on that eve's wreckage. Pondered that night, her smirk amid lights cutting. My steady reveal under the tree. Witnesses folder beside gifts. 4 months since lighter life rebuilt, worth new traditions solo or with chosen kin. Here's offer I slow, not forgive ready. Maybe never. Forgiveness skips not forgetting, downplaying the holiday betrayals. Knotted eyes damp. Get it. If counsel continues, I added, no money asks, no names, no wrong tallies, then maybe minis texts, brief calls. Test human treatment, sans life debt, no seasonal leverages. And slip, then retreat. Boundary protects, not punishes, no return to bailout, target plan B during holidays or otherwise. No letdown labels while leeching labor. Tear trailed. Swift wipe emotions still somewhat taboo. Fair, she hushed. Beyond. We lingered, kin-eyed women, divergent paths, probing for debt-free bridge beyond winter's grasp. Maybe, maybe not. Choice mine now, unburdened by tinsel ties. As parting she shy. You weren't let down, Suzanne. Needed you believing so, avoid my helplessness sans aid, especially for my perfect seasons. Not dream apology, but raw, flawed, real, like an imperfect gift. I know, I said. Why, I can't reprise that role starting fresh this year. That night in my condo, paid solo scrolled old texts, guilts, panics, needs laced with holiday urgency. Then new voids, no hostage. Sovereign ready for my own merry makings. Revenge, folks say, mirrors suffering inflicted, perhaps amplified by seasonal contrasts. But cafe her owning, not cornered, not forced by witnesses, but self-faced amid spring's thaw. Mine transpired, she lost perks. Control illusion, compliant me. No need life ruining. Ceased, her mine ruining holidays included. So query, if mom taunted failure on Christmas Eve lived your sacrifices years, would you raise her world, chance hit, or depart, self-build, better truth, chase her? But no, that chains eternally. I cut all parent sister kin who enabled no more shared seasons. No events, loans, emergencies, not even cards. Understood motives, but no forgive. No soften healthy guard, not cruel. Lesson family blood, no exploit pass even under mistletoe. Trust earns, boundaries vital, holidays or not. Don't tolerate this, reclaim your joy. Thanks listening. Share below faced holiday family blow up. How handled watching where?